Darling, we've had one hell of a time, but the question on everybody's mind, where is the power? We've had one hell of a time, but the question on everybody's mind.
How's it going, Matthew Rosenberg?
Is the intro music done? Are the dancers off stage?
Yeah. They're gone.
Yep.
We're live.
Spotlight's on you.
Guys, this is so exciting.
I know.
I've never been live before.
Is that true?
Well, you have on RYAN STEGMAN's live
No,
stream.
this is my first time, and this
is Ideas Don't Bleed live. This is the first live installment of your brand new podcast that launched over on ashcanpress.com. Ideas Don't Bleed.
Our brand new podcast.
Our brand new podcast.
Take some ownership.
Hello.
Griffin.
We like to think of ourselves as members of the audience that just kind of shout things out.
I'd like to say, welcome to my StreamYard that I paid for. Everybody, this is great to have you here. Matthew on my StreamYard, but on his show, interestingly.
It's the benefit of Matt joining the network. He's using the community resources.
Do I own part of this network? What the hell?
No, it's ours.
No. I do remember you saying, take the show and do whatever you want.
I've made some bad business decisions.
I'm not 100% sure, but it feels like, Ryan, you and me are both getting conned here.
Yeah,
and,
this is...
And yes, I'm conning you, but in turn, I'm also being conned.
The con started when I was doing Superior Spider-Man and Griffin was in high school. That's how long he's played this one. This is pretty impressive, honestly.
It's a long con. This is the plot of the movie Matchstick Men. That's a good movie. You guys see that? That's a really good movie. Underrated.
I
forgot about that scene. That scene in Matchstick Men where a small child comes up to a famous, an up-and-coming comic book artist and says, "One day I'm gonna take so much money from you, dude."
And at some point, just another man shows up and is like, "I'm gonna be here the whole time. I'm also gonna take money."
Yeah, there's a lot of. There is a small child in Matchstick Men. It's Alison Lohman, but the twist is she a small child? That was a spoiler.
Welcome to our spoiler review of Matchstick Men.
It's a movie. It's a movie from 15 years ago. I really liked it. Hi, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on your own streaming network.
Hi, Matthew. Hi, Griffin. Hi, Ethan.
Hi.
Hey, Ryan.
I've had enough of you guys. Go ahead, Matthew. Let's talk.
I'm going to introduce you, even though everyone knows who you are. You're Mr. Ryan Stegman, artist on Venom. You drew that. You've drawn a little book called Superior Spider-Man. You're drawing a book right now at Image Comics called Vanish.
Correct.
But obviously, most everyone knows you for being the cover artist on New Mutants Dead Souls miniseries written by me.
That's true.
I do. I have some of those around. Every once in a while, I get to sign those. I enjoyed doing those.
It's my convention banner. And if I still did conventions, people would see it all the time.
Which image?
I think it's issue 1.
Yeah,
like
with
the
Magic with her.
Yeah, Magic with the sword.
Well, once again, making money off me. That's all.
I had a convention banner that was very lovely. That was a Mark Brooks image from a Phoenix Resurrection, and it was like Jean Grey, and it was very. It was sexier than I necessarily wanted my convention banner to be. I was like, that's maybe not the vibe I'm trying to put out there. And then along you come, and you're drawing a werewolf and a big strong guy, and
it's not sexy at all.
It's not. It's the right amount of sexy for me. It's my sweet spot. Ryan knows my sweet spot for sexiness exactly.
I know all of your thoughts.
I know, and you nailed it. And I was like, that's the banner. There it is. I didn't ask your permission. Just threw it on.
I believe
there.
when I turned it in, you wrote, "That's a banner."
That's a banner. I was like, that shouldn't even be a cover. Don't even use
know
that.
What that means.
I was like, let's get Mark Brooks do the covers. This one should be a banner. And they didn't get Mark Brooks. They kept you. But yeah, so that's your introduction. There you go. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Thank you. Did you read Vanish?
Did I read Vanish? Yeah, thanks for sending it to me. Oh, you didn't. I bought it.
Not even my cover.
Why would I buy your cover? I wanted to give the wonderful Daniel Warren Johnson some money. How much
He
money
gets-
does he get from
right.
this?
He gets $1 for every copy sold.
That's awesome. He needs it.
Is that true?
No, God,
Oh,
crazy.
Sorry.
Matt, people don't know this. We've already recorded 1 million episodes of Ideas Don't Bleed
Yeah.
with a lot of wonderful guests that are not announced yet.
Yes.
Why was Ryan so far down the list? He wasn't even in the first 3.
I like this question.
There's a lot of reasons. I try to talk to writers because that's where ideas come from. And Ryan, although he wrote Spider-Man Renew Your Vows,
And he's writing a book right now.
he then stopped writing for a long time. And so
No, I write in my diary every night.
He
You're
writes
not-
in his diary.
much
so
like
do you have another
Vanish.
answer?
much like Vanish, you're not sending that to me.
I'll tell you this. I sat here for hours today writing. I won't
Did
tell you
you?
what I was
Oh
doing,
my
but I did have
God.
to write a post
Wait,
today.
you're writing a new series, though?
Yeah, we're gonna talk. We have a new podcast coming up on my thing, but we've announced the Schlub. It's gonna be an image
That's
comic.
right. Hashtag what is the schlub?
What is the Schlub? Who is
Hashtag
the
what
Schlub?
schlub? Hashtag what is the schlub?
But yeah, the co-writing that.
Who you're co-writing with who?
I can't say that.
Yep.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
revealed on
it's up to you.
klcpress.com.
This is the
Everybody.
This is the StreamYard. This is your StreamYard.
Yeah,
There's no
I
difference.
know.
Just say it now.
I do like this comment. Linus Lee says schlubba dubba dub dub.
That's
How
not
are you-
bad.
How are you seeing comments?
None of your business.
Fair enough. It's my.
There
It's
it
my.
is. There it is.
My show. There.
No, and I have a big hand in
Are
the
you
Vanish writing
are you
process.
Are you drawing?
No. Tyrell Cannon is drawing. The show.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he's awesome. So that's something I want to branch out and do more of. But it's a process. But
Yeah.
and it's
So
hard.
now he's writing and drawing. He's just like Daniel Warren Johnson.
I'm starting to find a groove where I know, like in the morning, if I have to write something, if I spend that first hour to 2 hours writing, and then go and draw, I can still get my work fairly close to done that day. But for a while there, I kept thinking I'm going to draw, and then I'm going to go write, and then at the end of the day, you'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
No way.
Is that because I know a lot of artists are kind of like, I mean, for certain process parts, they're like, oh yeah, it's easy because you don't think. Like I'll watch a movie for like ink
Yeah.
stuff. Is that why? Like at the end of the day, it's easier for you to draw than write because it's just less mental.
So the first part of drawing is when I do my layout, because I don't do all my layouts beforehand. I do a layout every day.
Oh wow.
And that part is much closer. That feels much more like writing, where you're really like, you feel like smoke's coming out of your ears.
Mhm.
And then I go into, I print that out, and then I tighten it up with a red pencil. And that's still a lot of decision making, a lot of thought going in. But then that last part where I'm finishing it with a regular pencil for the inker, that's a lot more I can zone out, and I can talk to friends and watch movies, listen to podcasts, all that stuff. But those first 3 hours are usually earmarked for writing and doing a layout and really focusing, and that's the hard part of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you work? You work like what, 30 minutes a day?
Yeah. I was going to say to you, because you were kind enough to do a cover for What's the First Place from Here.
And I made you sit on that live stream
And
the
you
whole
made
time.
us sit on a live stream the entire time
Uh-huh.
for 5 hours.
4 hour long stream.
That was the
in
golden age.
in the middle of a day. So I was going to let you know, now that you're here, I'm going to write a whole script on this episode while you sit here and chat.
You know how I know that's not true? Because I know when I write, the last thing I want is anybody knowing what I'm writing as I'm writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because writers all the time are like, oh, I can't listen to things with words. I can't listen to music with words. I can't. And then I know a writer who just watches movies while he writes, and I was like,
What?
yeah.
Who is? Can you name names?
I'm not going to name names.
That's
But-
interesting.
Come
behavior.
You have to text me this.
Yeah, I know a writer who, and I was like, how does your brain work? And it's just an amazing amount of compartmentalization that I don't have. And no other writer I know has. And it's
It
great.
seems unhealthy.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I'm so impressed by it that I sort of wish that, I mean, you know how many movies I would watch, guys? I've seen all the movies by now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
As it stands now, the last movie I saw was the original Tron when it came out. I don't even know. I don't know if I was alive when the original Tron came out. I think I was alive.
Classic.
Well, that's all very exciting, Ryan. I'm excited for you to write something because I actually liked Renew Your Vows.
You read it? You
I did.
liar. You're such
do you
a
want?
liar.
Do you want me to go pull it off my fucking?
No, I want you to tell me what happened in it.
I don't know. I read it a long time ago.
You don't
The
remember
vows
everything
are
you
in
read? You know, wait, let me ask you something. As a writer, I've noticed Donnie can do this and Kenny Porter can do this.
Oh, Jesus.
Where anything they watch, they can immediately tell you every single thing that happened. Like right after. Whereas when I watch something, I have an internal monologue going on the entire time. I hear every fifth word. And at the end, I'm like, I like the way it felt overall, but I don't remember anything that happened.
No, I know. I can do that with things I watch. Less and less I can do it with stuff I read. I used to be able to. I used to think like, there was a time when I thought like, oh, I'm like a comics savant genius. Like I've read all these books and I know, when the new Warriors show up in a comic and all stuff. And then I ended up going to those Marvel summits and I was in a room with,
like
Tom Brevoort, Dan Slott, Tom Brevoort, and Mark Waid. And those guys are telling you like who inked a cover uncredited in 1967. And you're just like, I was like, oh, I'm not a savant of any sort. I'm just like I'm a regular run of the mill nerd. Like these guys are actually geniuses.
Yeah.
But I still was for a while like pretty proud of how much retention I have. And I read like 4 or 5 issues a night every night, and now it's just a blob. Now it's just like people are like, "What happened in that issue of Avengers?" And I'm like, "Wonder Woman did something." And then I'm like, "That can't be right," but I don't know.
Yeah, Riley Rossmo and Riley talks. He reads everything. Like he reads every comic book in existence, and he can't tell you a goddamn thing that happens in any of them. And that's how I'm like. First of all, I'm interested because I read comics, but I do it more in bursts. I wouldn't say I read one every day. I read like 10, every once in a while. But he reads everything, so I'm like, why do you do it if you don't remember any of it? He's like, I don't know. I just like it.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, why do you do it if you don't remember? It's not a great question, I think. There's a lot of things that you could enjoy in the moment. Like, I don't know. I don't drink, but like, that seems like the same thing, no? Maybe? I don't know. Whatever. You're a blackout drunk. This is what it's like, right?
Yeah. No, that is. I do remember in college, I had some friends who like, they had their goal was to get blackout drunk, and I was like, well, why would you want to do that if you don't remember any of it? And they're like, it's just fun. I was like, how do you know?
No, it's not.
How do you know it's fun?
It seems being around a lot of blackout drunks, it doesn't necessarily seem. It seems maybe not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it, and it's not fun.
I've seen a lot of my friends pee their pants, and I'm like, that doesn't seem great. I wouldn't be super psyched to have peed my pants.
Which is what Riley Rossmo does when he reads comics.
He reads comics. It's the same thing, which is great. No, but I feel like, I get that. I remember more than nothing, but I'm not as sharp as I used to be. But I also read comics in a different way. Like I definitely watch TV and film now with this explicit goal of like shutting off my brain in a certain way. Yeah. So I am just consuming them passively. Whereas comics, I can't help but be like, they did this in 5 panels. Like that's fascinating. Like my brain just automatically pulls stuff apart. Whereas I still have the luxury of like, I have to actively do it. I have to make an effort to not be analyzing everything I watch, but I do make that effort so my retention is much better. If I could read comics as a fan again wholly, I think my retention would be back to what it was. But
I sometimes can't read stuff right before bed because it makes me anxious.
Oh, wow.
Comic books.
You're like, how's Spider-Man gonna get out of this one?
Yeah. No, like, why is this guy so good at drawing?
Okay.
And then I'm like,
who are the people who you read that make you anxious?
Who makes you anxious?
So many people. I've been reading the Silvestri's Wolverine. I bought like this big stack of the actual single issues. Yeah. So I like huff them and read them at night. And sometimes I'm like, I got to put that aside. It's making me too anxious.
Silvestri's funny because I feel like obviously the man is a legend and like well known, but I don't think people understand how shockingly like good he was at the time.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's so good, and I feel like in some ways, people like, like Todd McFarlane or Rob Liefeld, or like those guys, like overshadowed, just like in the cultural sort of zeitgeist of comics. Like Silvestri's, like he's so good and so amazing that I'm just like, I don't know why this isn't like held.
He's not as
he's not a showman,
extroverted. Yeah.
He's not. He's not a.
I think that's always interesting to me, that those Image guys, that they had. I mean, I would say four of those guys are artists that talked a lot, that said a lot publicly, which most artists, we don't say much at all. I talk a lot, but I know that like
too much,
when I try to do too much. When I do these podcasts, I always want to have an artist on, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to have him. He won't say anything.
Yeah. It is tricky, because it is always with a lot of artists I know, like they don't even want to talk about their process. They don't want to talk about story. They don't want to talk. They're just like, I don't want to talk about that shit. And I'm like, well, that's sort of what we're doing here. But yeah, there are, and not just that those guys, that they had four guys who were big talkers, but they're like showmen on a level that is generationally rare. Like you get one of these guys every 10 years, and they have so many of them that it is kind of shocking. And but yeah, that Silvestri stuff will make you stay up at night. I, on the other hand, if I don't read before bed, I have nightmares. I have stress dreams about like the most mundane, boring things. It's awful.
Well, that's what I read. I'll read like novels and stuff before bed, but I have a hard time with comic books. I like to read those like out in the family room. They're like, I can't be in my bed with them.
You're taking work to bed. You can't.
Don't bring comics into the bedroom. That's just.
They're too bright and colorful. Your brain, it's waking your brain up too much. You can't.
I read. You know what I read in bed last night?
Porn.
Vanished.
You
Number
read
one.
porn.
I read some porn.
What did you think of the? What did you think of the special thanks page? That was Griffin.
It's not a page. It's a tiny thing in the corner.
I think it kind of encapsulates the page.
It's kind of the thing that draws your attention the most.
Are you referring to the fact that your names are smaller than literally everyone else's names in here?
I think we were talking about how our names are immediately preceding Jack Kirby's name.
Right by Jack Kirby, which I think is not a coincidence.
What do you think it means, though? Why is Jack Kirby's name so much bigger? It's so big.
Ryan.
I mean, like, I don't know. He hasn't done anything for me. He hasn't stolen my StreamYard account.
What has he done lately?
I'm not thanked at all. But interestingly, Josh Williamson is. What did Josh Williamson do for you? That was so great.
Yeah. What did he do?
Harrison Stegman. What did he do that was so great?
That's my son.
Oliver Stegman. What did he do?
They're both right outside of my office playing video games like they do. Oh, they did so much. They told me it would be better if I was drawing Spider-Man throughout the whole time that I was drawing that book. They said that they like manga better than Vanish. They said all kinds of stuff that really helped me along.
Vanish has kind of a manga energy to it, though, I feel like.
That's why I want an anime out of it. Chip Zdarsky's in the chat. Did you see that?
We don't have to. We can just get rid of that.
We don't have to get into
okay.
it.
That was so fast. I saw he said something.
We don't. How do I?
He's just bringing up the fact that we mentioned the special thanks page on the stream that he was on.
He's just so mad that he's not in it.
I don't know why.
Which I get. You know, when Chip's not thanked, and Chip is obviously super influential to both Donnie's writing and Ryan's art on the book.
Right.
I feel like I feel a little better about the fact that I wasn't thanked, but it's still not good. But I feel better. I feel okay.
I'll add a special thanks to anybody in the next issue of Vanish that can come over and get my office to stop smelling like raw sewage right now.
Why?
What? Why is that? Why?
What?
I have a sump pump in here and something's going wrong.
You just keep shitting in there, and
when
you're writing too much, you're like, I can't take a break. I got to use the bucket on this one.
Why do you have a sump pump in your office?
Because I'm in the fucking basement, Matthew.
Christ.
Chip is adding real quick that he's able to listen to live streams while writing the, as he claims, a very successful Batman series.
I'd have to
Chip.
see the numbers.
Yeah,
there.
prove
Yeah,
it. Prove it.
Comic-Con doesn't post numbers anymore.
Right.
I mean, congrats on the very successful Batman series, Chip. And I hope that we make it into this series here with this live stream.
You think we will?
I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah. At least subconsciously, you'd think something would.
I write the very successful Joker series. Some say the more successful Joker series, even though it's not out, which is a weird thing.
I'm glad to hear that. That's
I would
great.
say it's more successful.
I would say
Yeah,
it's more
it was.
successful.
Just on a
and-
conceptual level, on a creator level.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Probably more
I
successful.
definitely put Chip in the book. Chip is definitely he's sort of my inspiration for my Joker. Is sort of
For the Joker,
He
right?
has a
Like-
lot of Joker energy.
An agent of chaos. An agent of chaos that waits for people to live stream so he can comment.
Yeah, that's the plot of my Joker book. Is he shows up on people's live streams and just says mean stuff to them.
That's terrifying. Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's exactly what you want to see in a comic book because it's a lot of live streaming drama.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carmine
Do we
who draws
want-
the book loves it.
Obviously not from Chip, but like from other people. Do we want to
We
take
have-
some questions? Do we want to see what people are
Did you
have to say?
Did you guys even promote this on KLC today? I was doing this?
We've been promoting this on the KLC social network pages, Ryan Stegman, but we have not
We-
emailed people
We
about.
try to
I
be
like to
concise with our number of weekly posts, Ryan.
I like to keep
We
tried.
I like to keep the Ashcan press fans and the KLC press fan like they don't get along.
Matt specifically asked to
There's not
put a
overlap.
small divider between the
Do
two
you-
fan groups.
There's sort of a West Side Story thing going on.
Matthew,
between
do
the two
you
of them.
do you keep a tab of how many gummies Griffin's eaten before he gets
Oh
on
my
here?
god! Oh my god!
I don't know.
We're
how
doing
I
this
could-
live. We're doing this live.
I don't know how I could know. I don't even know. Like, if you put a gun to my head, I don't even know where Griffin is.
Just baseless accusations.
Like, it looks like he's in a cardboard
Ridiculous.
box. So, like, I can't
That's-
track his
that's-
consumption of narcotics.
just-
I
Your
meant like
face, Ryan
trolleys. Trolley
Look at
gummies.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
Trolley gummy.
some Haribos.
Haribo's.
Ooh, I like
Haribo's,
this.
Haribo's the way to go.
Linus Lee says adults hate chains. That should have been your network.
Oh,
Change is not
HD.
bad. That's not bad. I might use that.
AHC, baby.
We already have a
I
name.
disagree, though. I think Ryan, you're an adult. You like chains.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't know if I qualify as an adult, though.
All right.
But
That's
that you like them. Like, kids love them.
Yeah.
Adults tolerate chains.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely. I
Yeah.
can't bring myself to go full 90s with the chains ever. I try to, but I can never quite do enough.
Mhm.
Like in your art or like in your dress?
In my bedroom.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Okay.
What does it smell like in there?
Also raw sewage.
Just want to know.
Hey, that's the whole house.
So,
Yeah.
It's anywhere you are.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird.
It's like following you.
Yeah, I think we should take some questions because I prepared nothing because I was like, Ryan's
Sure.
pretty charming and funny. And
He is.
and
You
then I
can just
remembered-
tell Ryan go, and he'll just
Go,
riff
Ryan.
for like an hour.
Yeah. He
First
doesn't
of
even
all-
need us.
Give us your 30-second review of Vanish #1.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I loved it. I thought it was great. It's not gonna be 30 seconds. This is gonna be 10 minutes easy.
Okay. Perfect.
Uh,
I'll sit back.
obviously the writing is really what drives the book.
Yeah.
Donnie's no, I thought it was great. I was sort of taken aback by how dense it is in the beginning. There's just like a lot of world, and I was like, oh, this is super intense and like a lot of character stuff right up front, and then it just sort of explodes into this like other thing that's so kinetic, and I found that I really enjoyed that as a pacing structure.
You know what's funny is when we were doing it, I almost worried that we didn't have enough stuff in issue 1 because I was like, I don't know, you just worry about everything. And then a bunch of the reviews have said there was a lot of, they're kind of like say it like it's a bad thing that there was a lot of info. But
no,
I mean,
it's not
to set something up like this,
bad. Yeah.
it takes a lot of info. But I didn't really feel like there was that much.
I feel like there's a lot, but it's handled really, really well, I think, because it's Donnie's voice for, it's not like it's an omniscient narration. It's like his voice for the character, and the way information is handed to you is really clever, I think. And the way like you're drawing him and you know, like the scene of him walking through the alley and getting attacked and stuff, you learn a lot in ways that are sort of passive, but you do learn a lot, which I really liked, because it definitely feels bigger than a lot of first issues do in terms of like the scale, because you guys get that information out there, but then you still end it with like full adrenaline, and that's really great.
Well, for people that didn't like the amount of info in the first one, good news, the second issue has no information and we don't advance the plot at all. So just pick this one up.
How many issues is it?
Breezy. 8 is what we have planned. We know where that ends. We know where it can go beyond that. So far, numbers look great. If it stays, you know, doing great, then, you know, I mean, one of the questions in here is about spin-offs and stuff, but you know, it's limitless.
Don't spoil the questions.
Possibilities.
Where are you on the book?
I'm done with it. I'm working on issue 5 right now.
Oh wow, okay, so you're far ahead.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And you feel what are you guys going to do? Like 4-issue trades, or you don't know? Or
yeah, I think so. We didn't really think that through when we did an 8-issue series, like an 8-issue idea, because that is kind of awkward to have 4 and 4. So
I feel like people are doing it more and more now. 30.
The first issue was 30 pages though, so you know it'll be like 4.5 issue trades with a bunch of back matter. Should be cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then after that, whatever we want to do.
On What's the First Place from here, we were like, okay, the first arc is 6 issues, and that'll be cool. And then when we put it together, it was 270 pages, and we were like, because all the issues are super long, and we were like, oh, this was really stupid of us to make this long. This was like incredibly dumb.
We just now have to pay more to print it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's funny because it's like the first time we've ever had to deal with that, because it's my first Image book, and so like it's all new to me. And I like was talking to someone at Image, and they were like, yeah, you know, it's just more expensive, but it's okay. And they're like, but you know, paper's at an all-time high and shipping's at an all-time high. And I was like, okay. And they're like, you just lost thousands of dollars, like tens of thousands of dollars. And I was like, cool, thank you for the pep talk, Image. But the book sold, so we're happy with it.
Cheers.
And it feels heavy. You know, you're gonna have a 4-issue trade. No one's gonna be able to beat anyone to death with that.
No,
that's sad.
And then we'll have an 8-issue compendium, and then it'll go on forever, and we'll start having omnibuses, and people will just be like walking up to us and handing us money on the streets. It's gonna be amazing.
That sounds cool.
But will you do spin-offs? Which is the question from Raw Comics, who says, question for Ryan on Vanish, is there an ideal number of spin-offs you're looking to have?
No, obviously we don't have like a huge staff. The more spin-offs we had, the more people we'd have to have working. So right now we just have a focus on one that is, you know, in development, and as we have ideas, we could definitely spin it off more. But I think that letting it get unruly, I don't want to start doing stuff where, you know, stuff doesn't come out on time because our attention is too divided. So, you know, one at a time. We'll take it slow.
Right.
But the ideal number, like for you, there has to be a number.
36.
Like, this is okay. 36.
36 spin-offs, okay. Counting Vanish or not counting Vanish?
No. At this point, we would just never do Vanish again. And there would just be spin-offs and no central book.
There's just a 36 book universe.
Yeah,
well, we don't listen. Like I said, we put too much information in issue 1. We want to have 36 spin-offs with no information in them.
Okay.
It's important to us that we don't want to burden the readers with advancing things.
You want shops to have a shelf just for Vanish Universe.
Yeah, and it'll all be crap. Which is
it'll all be bad. Okay.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
There's no information in it. Like it has
that's an approach that people aren't trying these days.
I feel like a lot of people are trying that approach these days. we can have that discussion another time.
Name and shame.
No, I'm not going to do that.
It's fine. You can say it. Chip Zdarsky. Chip
Zdarsky is but you know what? It's working for him. I don't know if you guys heard this. Batman is best selling according to
I like it.
Batman sells no matter what. It's not.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say
anything.
when I read a Chip Zdarsky book that I really enjoy and it really puts me at ease is he doesn't make any decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's it. That's just it. That's
He doesn't. He just lets it all be. Batman is happy finally.
Right. You can tell that it's low stakes in the book and behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's writing it from his bathtub.
It's like a choose your own adventure, but there's without the adventure.
Right.
It's just like
Yeah.
he lets the audience.
You can tell he's writing it while listening to a bunch of live streams.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an approach.
Well, I'm excited for these books that have no information in them whatsoever. Now I'm like, my brain is spinning on this idea of like conveying nothing to an audience. I think is like, what is the least you can do to convey to us? When I was a young pup and I wanted to write comics, there was I read some Alan Moore quote that I can't even paraphrase at this point, but basically he said something about like, conflict is fine, but that's not what your story is about. Like, and he was just like, everything has conflict, but nothing has just conflict. And I was like, I want to make the book that is just conflict. And like spent a long time going down this rabbit hole of like, what does it mean? And just like, you keep accidentally putting plot into things. And I'm like, no, this is just conflict. And then I was like, oh no, this is unreadable mess, what I'm trying to create. And it's possible that Alan Moore is smart. I'm not out there. It's possible he's correct in his understanding of the way stories worked for thousands
all
of years.
Conflict story. What would that be? Just like somebody shows up and is like, "I hate you." And
they showed up. That wasn't conflict.
Showing up is plot.
That's plot.
And I hate you is plot. I mean, I guess it's just splash pages. Kind of. I mean, it speaks to things. It speaks to.
I'm gonna shoot you because I hate you. No, because I hate you is exposition. I'm gonna shoot you. No, that's explanation. They just shoot.
Yeah, sort of what I settled on was a series of splash pages of people fighting, but not the same people from page to page. Sort of what I came up with. And as someone who doesn't draw, that's not necessarily a book I should be writing. But maybe it's great. I don't know. Ryan, you can have that.
It's experimental.
I'll draw it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I feel like that's what Vanish kind of is. Just people fighting, no explanation. Especially issue 2, which has no information. It's just people fighting, different people on every page. I like it. I'm excited. I'm joking, of course, because I didn't read issue 2 because no one sends it to me. But
it's not finalized.
And that brings us to the end of part 1 of our discussion with the one and only Ryan Stegman. Make sure to follow Ryan on Twitter at Ryan Stegman and check out Vanish as well as everything else we're cooking up for you over at KLC Press at klcpress.com. To get the latest episodes of this podcast as well as news, giveaways, and even comics delivered straight to your inbox, go to ashcanpress.com and sign up for the newsletter. We'll be back next week for part 2 of our discussion, and in the meantime, you can write to us at ideasdon'tbleedpod@gmail.com or tweet to Matthew Rosenberg at Ashcan Press on Twitter, me at Tales to Astonish, or Griffin at Griff Sheridan. We'll include some of your correspondence on the show, and we'd love to hear what you have to say. And big thanks to Summer People for our theme song, Where's the Poison? Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.